Hey y'all, just wanted to do a video on what to look for when you're buying a used Teryx 800. One of my neighbors and good friends finally saw the light and got rid of his goon buggy and got a side-by-side. But anyway, I feel like the 2016 and up to current Teryx 800s are the best side-by-sides you can get. They're capable, they last, they don't break. It doesn't turn people off like all the other machines that tend to break, like Polaris and Can-Am, but whatever. But this is kind of just a video to go over what to look for when you're buying a used Teryx. It was spotless, but the redneck came out of my neighbor and he decided to take it out in the mud and at least get it a little muddy. So just excuse that for the video. But the first thing I'll say, especially if you're on the East Coast, if you go to look at a machine to buy and it's got any mud on it at all or it's dirty, don't buy it. Because if somebody's selling a machine that's got mud on it, and that's when it's supposed to look presentable, they probably never took any care of it and it's probably destroyed. So that's my main thing. If you go to look at a machine and it's muddy or dirty, don't buy it. That's really stupid, because if somebody's going to sell something and it's muddy or dirty, think about how they treated it when they weren't trying to sell it. But anyway, the first thing on a Teryx to look at is going to be the air filter. It's real easy to get to on these things. Turn them two clips out and pick up on the hood, slide it forward, and you can see this thing's actually pretty clean in here. Pop these 6 clips off. Your hoses go in those little holes right there. Those are just your vent lines. And check out your air filter. It's not super hard to get to. It just kind of sits in there, and it's a paper filter. And you can see this one. I rode with my neighbor to get this one and did all this beforehand. Air filter's super clean. I mean, this thing's never been abused or used at all, honestly. We'll get that back in there. After that, you want to look at the the coolant level. And on the Teryx, that's real easy. It's right there. That's your high coolant line, right where I'm rubbing. I don't know if you can make it out on the video, but this one was full and perfect. After that, you want to start looking at kind of your wear items, like your tie rod ends. So if you just grab the wheel and look down on it, you can see if the tie rod ends are tight. That'll tell you how it's been ridden and if it's been abused or not. And always bring a buddy with you to watch the other side when you do this, because if you start turning the wheel and that tie rod end's moving and the wheel's not, that means they're pretty worn out. And that, I mean, and even if that doesn't turn you off from the sale, it's still an arguing point to drop the price on it. But once you get that done, what I like to do, the perfect way to do it is to jack it up with a jack and get the tire off the ground. But I've seen wheel bearings bad enough where you can just grab the wheel and shake it. You always want to go top to bottom to see if the wheel bearing's good. And sorry, the horse came out here to see what we were doing, this charcoal. So after that, this one's really easy. Just check the axles. You just want to visibly inspect them. You'll see the boots leaking oil if they are, but then grab it and twist it and go around to each axle. Inspect the boots, make sure there's no grease hanging out. Grab the axle, twist it, and make sure it's not loose. That's really easy. Just do that on all 4 corners. All right, and then when it comes to a Teryx 800, the engine oil is easy to check. There's a little clip under the driver's seat. You can see right there. Pop that off. Pull the rubber flap down there. And then your engine oil is right here. And like I said, we've already bought this machine. It's already, my neighbor's already bought it, so we already did all this and checked it. I just wanted you guys to see it. And your engine oil level's right there. And you'll see if it's good to go or not. I'm trying to get it to focus, but always check your engine oil. If it's super black, that's okay. If it looks like a milkshake, stay away from it, because that means it's got a coolant leak somewhere into the engine oil. So after you check your engine oil out, always take it for a test drive. Don't just crank it up and romp on it. Let it warm up really good. Let it get up temperature, 5 or 10 minutes of idling. But take it off and drive it. When you're driving it, obviously check the brakes. Teryx 800s have a differential rear brake, so the back brakes just kind of suck, to be honest with you. The front brakes are disc brakes though, so you should be able to you know, put your foot on the brake and stop. And if you're on dirt, you should be able to slide the front tires at least. Always check that out. And then when you're driving it, get to a good flat spot and check it and make sure the steering wheel's straight. If the steering wheel's crooked, that may indicate some kind of steering damage, because these T-Rexes are kind of known for the steering rack being weak, but usually only with aftermarket tires and offset wheels and all that. But that'll kind of let you know if anybody's hit a tree or damaged it in any kind of way. And then the other simple thing you can do is always check your shocks. So a lot of people don't like the shocks on these things. If you tune them a little bit and adjust the springs out, which we've already done it on these, but if you tune it a little bit and adjust the springs, it actually rides pretty good. But always look at your shocks and make sure they're not leaking. You can see that one's good. And what you'll look for is up in there around that seal, it'll just be pouring oil. I mean, it'll be obvious, but check that, because that's not cheap to get fixed or cheap to replace. But check that. And then another thing you can look at on the T-Rexes is if the hitch is really worn. This one has been used for towing a little bit, but this machine only had like 40 hours on it. So it's not going to be a lot of abuse with it, but that'll kill belts and kind of ruin your clutches if people towed, you know, a lot of heavy stuff with it, a lot of hours. But yeah, other than that, I mean, just look how it was taken care of, guys. I mean, like I said before, if you've got a machine that's muddy or dirty or gross when you get there to look at it, I'd probably skip it, because if somebody won't take the time to clean it up before you buy it, think about how they treated it beforehand. But other than that, that's it, guys. We're gonna do some more videos on this once he gets the lift. And the other thing I told him I'd tell you, if you find a cooler in the back of it full of whatever kind of adult beverage, skip it, because they probably crashed it 100 times like he's gonna do. But that's it. Appreciate it, y'all. And charcoal, he doesn't really like this thing, but there you go, buddy. You finally getting to sniff it. You're on my video. Appreciate it.